Welcome to yet another episode of World Cup Express. Today on the show, we're going to talk about the top 5 batsmen and the top 5 bowlers in the World Cup so far. It's been an interesting World Cup, and both bat and ball have had interesting battles in this tournament. I have with me the special correspondent of Indian Express, Bharat Sundaresan. Today, we're going to pick the top 5 bowlers thus far in the tournament. And Bharat, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chandresh.
Bharat, talking about the top 5 bowlers, let's start from the bottom.
Right.
Number 5, for me, I think it's Shami. Who's your pick?
I would go with Shapur Zadran. I mean, there's something about a fast bowler running in with his long mane flying in the air. No biases, of course. And I mean, just the heart that he's shown so far, and the fact that he ensured that Afghanistan won their first World Cup match, that makes him my number 5.
That's a good choice, but I think my choice remains Shami. So we have a tie on that position, Shami and Shapur Zadran. Number 4 is an interesting one because I think the spinners have done quite a bit in this tournament. Ashwin for India has done well, but my heart goes out to my old friend Daniel Vettori. I think he's made a strong comeback in the tournament. Do you agree with my choice?
I do. I mean, like, we didn't expect Dan Vettori to even like show up for this World Cup, and he's come back, and it's like the Dan Vettori of old. It's like he never went away. He's been brilliant. He's been bowling slow in the air, and probably Ashwin has picked up a thing or two from him. And I mean, it's great to see left arm spin do well, but also I've been very impressed by Imran Tahir, who might have had his troubles in Test cricket, but he's always been a wicket taker for South Africa and one-day cricket. And just for his celebrations, I'll make him number 4.
So that's number 4, Imran Tahir and Daniel Vettori, again tied for this position. Number 3 is a clear one for me. It's Mitchell Starc. I cannot think that Australia can look beyond Mitchell Starc at this World Cup. Everybody keeps talking about Mitchell Johnson, but I think the man who creates the maximum impact for them is Mitchell Starc, because the way he bowls those Yorkers is just brilliant. Do you agree with me, Bharat?
Absolutely, and he bowls quicker than Mitchell Johnson on most days. He swings it more. Yes, Mitchell Johnson might have the ability to intimidate batsmen, but Starc gets you out. And I was so glad to see Mitchell Johnson completely being hit around the park on the same day that Mitchell Starc took 6 wickets and almost turned it around for Australia. Yeah, clear favourite for number 3 is Mitchell Starc. Yeah, I agree.
Number 2, I think, has to be Tim Southee of New Zealand. This guy has been around for a bit, but has really improved by leaps and bounds. The way he destroyed England, completely annihilated England, I think he confirms the fact that he is one of the best fast bowlers in the world. I think number 2 spot has to go to Tim Southee. Do you agree with me?
Totally. I mean, ever since Richard Hadlee, and for a bit they had Danny Morrison, but New Zealand have not had that fast bowler who can really go through batting lineups a consistent basis. And finally they have Tim Southee, again swings the ball like Mitchell Starc does, uses the conditions in New Zealand really well, and in a way he's redefined bowling in one-day cricket, whereas you see a lot of fast bowlers trying to contain runs even with the new ball. He said no. Like what New Zealand have done throughout the tournament, he's led the charge to take wickets, ensure that no opposition goes into the last 10 with too many wickets in hand, and that's worked for them.
So number 2 is Tim Southee without any doubt. Number 1, now this guy was considered to be a test match specialist. New Zealand didn't think that this guy would be successful in one-day cricket, but no, he has been successful. Trent Boult is the guy, and he's just been devastating in this tournament. I think more than Tim Southee, Trent Boult is the one who's been creating more impact with the new ball, and I think Tim Southee has helped Trent Boult become a better bowler than what he was.
Definitely, and I mean, going into the World Cup, or even 6 months ago, Mitchell McLanigan was your major new ball bowler. I mean, again, left arm seamer, hits the wicket hard, and he was the one taking all the wickets. Like you said, Trent Boult was a test specialist, but like Richard Hadlee said the other day, that Southee and Boult are probably probably New Zealand's best ever new ball combination. And how do you disagree with Sir Richard Hadlee? Because I mean, who better than him to talk about swing bowling? And that's been Trent Boult's major strength. He swung the ball, and there was a time when you thought swing bowlers couldn't exist in one-day cricket, but I mean, he's completely killed that idea, and he's shown that if you pitch it up, if you have the ability to bring the ball into a right-hander, you can cross menace. I mean, that's what Starc has done, and Boult has followed suit. And I think Southee got the 7-4 against England, but Trent Boult for me has been the bowler of the tournament.
Thanks a lot, Bharat. I think we're pretty clear on the top 5. It's interesting that New Zealand have got 3 of their bowlers in the top 5 of Bharat and my list. Now I think we'll come to the batsmen of the tournament. I think, Bharat, the batting in the tournament has been tremendous. We've seen a number of 300 plus scores, but still I think number 5 spot in the top 5 list for batting goes to Chris Gayle in my view. He scored a double hundred. but he's not done much beyond that. But for the sheer impact that he's created with that double hundred, he has to be in the number 5 slot.
Definitely. I mean, that's the thing with Chris Gayle, right? I mean, you're never going to get a consistent Chris Gayle. I mean, that will never exist. So you're going to get these spurts. You're going to get this kind of a blitzkrieg from him, which kind of lights up the tournament, and it did. I mean, we saw AB de Villiers do whatever he did the other day, but it was the Chris Gayle innings that really took this tournament to the next level, and also good to see someone other than an Indian score a double hundred and the first double hundred in a World Cup. And like you said, just about the Chris Gayle impact. I mean, that's what Chris Gayle is all about.
So number 5 is Chris Gayle. Number 4, I think, has got to be India's left-handed opener Shikhar Dhawan. I think Shikhar Dhawan has been in tremendous form in this tournament. It was completely unexpected. Before the start of the tournament, people were questioning his spot, but to see him come back so strongly, I think he deserves the number 4 slot.
Definitely. Like, you could even rate him higher if you wanted to, because going into the World Cup, everybody was talking about Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni, even Suresh Raina, but Shikhar Dhawan was many didn't even expect him to play the couple of first opening games because he was so out of form in the Tri-Series and the Test Series. But the way he's come back and to score that 100 against an attack like South Africa really said a lot about what he brings to the table. Because like Virender Sehwag, I mean, he keeps getting compared to Virender Sehwag, which I think is unfair. Because Shikhar Dhawan does something which is, I mean, not Sehwag-esque, but what he does do, which is similar to Virender, is like he sets up games for your team. I mean, that's what he's done so far. Because he completely destroys the morale of the opposition, and then it's difficult for them to come back from that. And yeah, definitely number 4.
So number 3, I think, has to go to de Villiers. AB de Villiers, South Africa's one-day captain. The way he batted against West Indies the other day was just tremendous. His record against West Indies in one-day cricket is just out of the world. To score 300s against the same side in 3 different World Cups is a record to be proud of. And the way he batted is so creative. He has to be number 3.
Definitely. I mean, I think he'll be number 1, the number 1 ODI batsman in most lists. But the thing is, if Gayle produces a storm, this guy produces a typhoon, you don't know where it's going. I mean, at least Gayle has his weak areas. You can contain him if you really want to, and he has his straight hitting areas. AB de Villiers has redefined the wagon wheel in cricket, if I may say so. And how do you stop AB de Villiers? And if it's his day, I mean, India have to thank Mohit Sharma for running him out the other day, or like, you never know, they might have chased 300 down. But that's the thing with AB de Villiers. The bowling attacks don't matter, conditions don't matter, the size of the grounds don't matter, because he just has these hitting areas around the ground and he can just hit any ball anywhere. And number 3, yeah, just so far. I'm sure he'll climb up to number 1 as the tournament progresses.
Next man on the list, number 2 in the batting ranks, is Kumar Sangakkara. He just seems to get better with age. To score 2 consecutive hundreds. In the last 5 matches, he's got 3 hundreds. What do you say about this man? This man just keeps getting better.
And still nobody talks about him. You don't even need to be Sri Lankan to be shocked by it. Because he's been doing it across formats for, I don't know, more than 10 years now. Almost 15 years. And still nobody talks about him. He's got almost 10,000 runs in in ODI cricket and Test cricket, and still, I mean, he doesn't get a mention. And I think this could be the World Cup where he actually makes the world finally sit up and, admire the talent that is Kumar Sangakkara, because like AB de Villiers, conditions don't matter to him, bowling attacks don't matter, and even, I mean, the way he's so cool, calm and collected despite the rising run rate, like he did against England, that says a lot about the class of Kumar Sangakkara.
So number 2 is Kumar Sangakkara, and number 1, I think it's a no-brainer, Brendan McCullum. This guy is something else. If AB de Villiers is creative with the bat, this guy is a demolition squad, one-man demolition squad. He just seems to just demolish attacks when he goes out to bat, and it becomes difficult for the rest of the lineup to match up to him.
Exactly. I mean, he sets up the game in a way that I haven't seen anyone do for a long time. I mean, we talk about Chris Gayle, but this guy is a pin-sized dynamite, and he just kills you. I mean, he just finishes off games like he did against England. He almost did against Australia as well. When he scored that breathtaking 158 in the first ever IPL match, that's when people really took notice of Brendan McCullum, and then they just dismissed him off as a flash in the pan. But what he's done in the last 18 months, scoring triple hundreds and double hundreds in New Zealand, in the UAE, and now the way he started this World Cup off, I mean, we are seeing a totally new Brendan McCullum. Probably this is why New Zealand have been hyping him up for so long, but it's good to know that he's finally showing the world what he's made of.
Thanks a lot, Bharat. So there you have the top 5 batsmen and the top 5 bowlers at this stage of the World Cup. It could change as the tournament progresses. Come back more for World Cup Express on Indian Express's YouTube channel. This is Chandresh Narayanan signing off.